1978. New York City, the Bottom Line Club. A 20-year-old kid walked into the venue early, hours before the show. He wanted a seat up front. His name was Prince Rogers Nelson. Most people didn't know who he was yet. He just signed his first record deal. No album released yet, no hits, no fame. But tonight, he wasn't here to perform. He was here to watch, to learn, to see the man everyone said was the greatest jazz musician alive. Just a kid from Minneapolis who played every instrument and had dreams bigger than the city could hold. Miles Davis. Prince had been listening to Miles's records since he was a teenager. Kind of Blue, Bitches Brew, In a Silent Way. Albums that didn't sound like anything else. Albums that broke every rule and created new ones. Tonight, that changed. But he'd never seen Miles perform live. Prince sat in the third row, center. He didn't talk to anyone, just sat there, waiting, watching the empty stage. The club filled up slowly. Jazz fans, music students, other musicians, people who understood what they were about to witness. When Miles walked out, the room went quiet. Miles didn't say hello to the audience, didn't introduce the band, didn't smile. Miles looked exactly like Prince expected. Dark sunglasses, stylish clothes, moving with that particular kind of confidence that comes from knowing you're the best at what you do. Just turned his back to the audience, lifted his trumpet, and started playing. Miles played with his back to the audience for the entire first song, not because he was rude, because he was focused, because the music mattered more than the performance, because he was having a conversation with his band, and the audience was privileged to overhear it. The first note hit Prince like electricity. It wasn't just sound, it was feeling, pure, concentrated feeling, made audible. The way Miles played silence, as much as he played notes. The way he'd play 3 notes that said more than other musicians said in 3 minutes. The way he controlled the entire band with just his presence. This wasn't entertainment, this was art. Pure, uncompromising art. Prince leaned forward in his seat, eyes wide, absorbing everything. Between songs, Miles didn't talk, just counted off the next tune with a nod. The band knew exactly what to do. Prince watched not just Miles, but the whole band, watching how they communicated without words, how they listened to each other, how they took risks. One moment stuck with Prince forever. The rest of the band stopped too, listening to the silence with him. Middle of a song, Miles was soloing, building something, climbing somewhere. The whole room leaning forward, waiting to see where he'd go. Then Miles just stopped. Didn't finish the phrase, didn't resolve it, just stopped. Let the silence hang there. Then Miles played one note, just one, quiet, almost a whisper. For 5 seconds nobody played. The entire club held its breath, and somehow, that one note said everything. Resolved everything. Completed everything. The band came back in. The song continued, but Prince understood he'd just witnessed something profound. Music isn't about filling every space. It's about knowing what to leave empty. After 90 minutes, Miles put down his trumpet. Didn't say goodbye, didn't thank the audience, just walked off stage. The audience erupted. Standing ovation, shouting, demanding an encore. Because the show was over, he'd said what he came to say. No need for an encore. No need for gratitude. The music spoke for itself. Miles didn't come back. He's the greatest in the world. Prince sat there after everyone else started leaving. Just sat there, processing what he'd seen. Finally, he turned to the person next to him, another musician he'd met in the lobby, and whispered, "The greatest, period. Not the greatest trumpet player, not the greatest jazz musician." The other musician nodded. "You want to meet him?" Prince didn't hesitate. Stood up, walked toward the backstage door. Backstage. Probably. You can try. You still here? The door was guarded by a large man who looked at Prince skeptically. "Who are you?" "I'd like to meet Mr. Davis." "Prince. I'm a musician. I need to tell him what his music means to me." The guard looked at this skinny 20-year-old kid. "Wait here." 5 minutes later, the guard came back. "He'll see you." 5 minutes. Prince walked into the small backstage room. Miles was sitting on a couch, drinking water, still wearing his sunglasses, even though they were indoors. "Mr. Davis, I'm Prince." I just wanted to say. Miles interrupted. You play? Yes, sir. Guitar, piano, bass, drums. What do you play best? Prince hesitated. All of them. Miles almost smiled. Almost. You write songs? Yes, sir. I just signed with Warner Brothers, working on my first album. What kind of music? I don't know yet. Rock, funk, soul, pop, whatever I'm feeling. Miles took off his sunglasses, looked at Prince directly for the first time. That's the right answer. Prince nodded, absorbing every word. Sir, don't let them put you in a box. Don't let them tell you what kind of music you make. You make your music. That's it. To watch you. To learn. What did you learn? Miles continued. You came here tonight. Why? Prince thought carefully. That silence is as important as sound. That less is more. That you don't owe the audience anything except the truth. Miles stared at him, then nodded slowly. You paying attention? Most people don't. They hear the notes, but they don't hear what's between the notes. I heard it. Good. Then you ready? Ready for what? To be great. You got the talent. I can see that. But talent isn't enough. You know what makes someone great? Not caring what people think. Playing what you hear, not what they want to hear. Most musicians, they want to be liked. They play it safe. They give people what they expect. Prince shook his head. Prince felt like Miles was looking right through him. Never. I play what I hear in my head. Sometimes people like it. Sometimes they don't. Doesn't matter. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be true. You don't. You gonna be famous? Miles said. I can tell. You got that thing. But when you get famous, everybody gonna want something from you. They gonna want you to sound a certain way. Dress a certain way. Be a certain way. What do I do? Tell them no. Be yourself. Even if they don't understand. Especially if they don't understand. The ones who don't understand don't matter. The ones who do understand will change their lives because of your music, like you changed mine. Miles nodded. Exactly. There was a knock on the door. The manager. Miles, car's ready. One more thing. Miles stood up, put his sunglasses back on, started walking toward the door. Then he stopped, turned back to Prince. Yes, sir? Sir? Turn your back to them sometimes. The audience. Turn your back. Not to be rude, but to remind them, and yourself, that the music is what matters. Not the image. Not the performance. The music. You understand? Good. Miles walked out. I understand. Prince stood there for a long moment. Then he left. 2. That night changed Prince's life. Not because of what Miles played, though that was transcendent. Because of what Miles said. And more importantly, what Miles showed. How to be uncompromising. How to be true to your vision, even when everyone tells you you're wrong. How to trust your own voice, even when it doesn't sound like anyone else's. When Prince made his first album, he played every instrument himself. The record label thought he was crazy. You need a band, they said. Prince heard Miles. Play what you hear. So he played everything himself. When Prince wanted to blend rock, funk, soul, and pop into something that had never existed before, they told him to pick a genre. Prince heard Miles. Don't let them put you in a box. So he created his own genre. When Prince started wearing androgynous clothes and challenging every norm about masculinity and sexuality in music, they told him to be more conventional. Prince heard Miles. Be yourself. Even if they don't understand. When Prince became famous, and everyone wanted him to smile more, to be more accessible, to explain his music, he often turned his back to the audience during performances. So he became more himself. Not to be rude, but to remind everyone, including himself, that the music is what matters. Just like Miles taught him, years later, someone asked Prince, "Who's your biggest influence?" Prince didn't hesitate. Miles Davis. Because of his music, because of everything. His music, his attitude, his refusal to compromise. I met him once when I was 20. He told me to be myself no matter what. That conversation changed my life. He said talent isn't enough. That what makes someone great is not caring what people think, playing what you hear, not what they want to hear. And he said when I got famous, Everyone would want something from me, and I should tell them no. Did you? What exactly did he say? Prince smiled. Every day. Someone told him Miles was performing in Los Angeles. Small venue. Jazz festival. In 1986, Prince was at the peak of his fame. Purple Rain had made him the biggest star in the world. He was selling out stadiums, defining a generation. Prince cleared his schedule, went to the show, sat in the audience, just like he did 8 years earlier, watched Miles play. Still turning his back to the audience, still playing silence as much as sound, still refusing to explain anything. After the show, Prince went backstage again. "You came," Miles said when he saw Prince. Miles was older now, in his 60s. Voice raspier, but still the same presence. Always. "You doing good? I hear your music. It's different." "That's good." Miles shook his head. "You didn't learn from me. You learned from yourself. I just told you it was okay to listen. I learned from the best. That's everything." As Prince was leaving, Miles called after him. They talked for 20 minutes. Two artists who understood what it meant to be uncompromising, to be misunderstood, to be called difficult because you refused to water yourself down. "You still turning your back to them?" Prince smiled. "Every chance I get." Miles nodded. "Good. Don't stop." Miles Davis died on September 28, 1991. Prince was devastated. At a concert a week later, Prince played The Beautiful Ones, one of his most emotional songs. In the middle of it, he stopped. Prince spoke into the microphone. "We lost Miles Davis this week. For those who don't know, Miles was the greatest musician who ever lived. Not the greatest jazz musician. The greatest musician. Period." The band kept playing softly behind him. The audience was silent. "When I was 20 years old, I met him after a show. I told him he was the greatest in the world. He taught me that being great isn't about being liked, it's about being true. I've tried to live by that every day since." Prince turned around, put his back to the audience, just like Miles taught him, and played a trumpet solo. Not on guitar, not on piano, but on actual trumpet, which he'd taught himself just so he could understand what Miles did. That had grown men in the audience crying, but it was true. Real. Uncompromising. It wasn't technically perfect. Prince wasn't a trumpet player like Miles, just like Miles taught him. Years later, someone asked Prince, "What's the most important lesson you ever learned?" Prince thought for a moment, then said, "That music isn't about filling every space. It's about knowing what to leave empty. Miles taught me that. One note, played at the right time with the right intention, can say more than 1,000,000 notes played without thought." And the second most important lesson? That you don't owe anyone anything, except the truth. Play what you hear. Be who you are. Let them understand or not. The right ones will. Who taught you that? Same person. Miles Davis. The greatest in the world. Prince watched Miles Davis perform in 1978. Subscribe for more stories about respect between generations, lessons that change lives, and moments when watching someone taught you more than words ever could. He was 20 years old. Unknown. Just starting. Miles was 52. A legend. Uncompromising. Prince whispered, "He's the greatest in the world."